Well, I guess seeing as how most of these kits, well, I guess seeing as how these are all kits released by round 2, I'm just going to go ahead and call this this whole week round 2 roundup. And we're going to start off with the TOS Enterprise, the Space Seed Edition. So, let's crack her open and see how she's different. Box is the standard design for a Polar Lights / round 2 kit. Dramatic photos photoshopped of the starship and the Botany Bay over a star field with the Star Trek logo. Includes Botany Bay model, some additional color text here and there. Just some different views of the assembled model, and then the backside has some biographical information, some information about the episode that it appeared in, and some other color text. Includes dome base with sturdy support rods. That's nice. Looks like it actually includes the new style round 2 base as opposed to the old one that the original edition came with that I honestly never cared for. We're going to start off with the Botany Bay herself. This is the only real new addition to this model that I'm aware of. It's a very basic kit. The fuselage, the main hull is just, 2 halves, and then you got your cargo container, and then the rear engine section, and then this support strut for the model itself. I'm guessing these are solar panels. I'm not sure what else, but it looks like a nice, well done, well tooled model. There's some panel detail here and there. Looks like a nice representation of the ship as it appeared in the old show. Enterprise herself looks like some minor retooling. I don't remember this this kind of triangle, rear-facing triangle shape on here. And it's actually not symmetrical. It's much larger on the on this side than on this side. That's kind of interesting. There is a new socket for the new style display stand, so that's nice to see. The old, I never cared for the old display stand because it, I don't know, just didn't really do it for me. But you've also got the housing for the deflector dish. And nacelle struts. Not much else to say, they're nacelle struts. Display stand is the standard type that Round 2 has been using pretty much since they got the license. Just a truncated dome, metal rod, and then there's the ball joint segment there, so you can pose it slightly articulated. We got our clear parts. This kit has always included parts from its original issue for representing the Enterprise as it appeared in the main series or in either of the 2 pilots. The 2 pilots, the biggest difference being the bridge dome being a little bit taller. So you've got the taller bridge dome here versus the shorter bridge dome here from the series, and the caps, the Bassard collectors on the end of the nacelles, having spikes sticking out the front versus on the series where they were just half domes. So you can do this as one of 3 different versions in addition, 4 actually, because I believe you can do this as the Mirror Universe version, which was simply a slight deco change from the second pilot version, I want to say. Yeah, clear parts are all nicely molded, pretty standard. One piece fell off. Actually, I don't recall what these are for. Guessing, I think that's for the sensor on the bottom of the saucer. I'm not sure which one. They're slightly different. One has a taller little nub on the end versus the other, so I guess that's another difference between the series and pilot versions. In the saucer section, top and bottom, looks generally pretty accurate. Hard to say. I want to say maybe the rise here for around in the center, not the bridge dome itself or the B and C decks, but like the little bulge in the center. I want to say maybe it comes up a little bit too close to the edge, but I'd have to look at a real like a blueprint to know for sure. But I'm happy to see there's no grid lines etched in here like on the 3/50th scale. That had me really upset when I first looked at that thing. Saucer bottom has the concentric rings around the bottom. The molded hatches. I think these are supposed to be for landing legs should the saucer ever have to land on the surface. There's no molded in depressions for phaser banks or torpedo launchers anywhere on the saucer. So, but that's accurate to the shooting prop. That's a lot of nacelle parts. So I guess another difference between the pilot and series version is that this inboard recessed area in the pilot version was just smooth, whereas on the series version had some etching molded into it. I don't remember that from when I've done this kit before, but I do seem to recall this model coming with a ton of extra nacelle parts. So I don't think this is a new addition for this version of the kit. But yeah, you get a total of 8 nacelle halves for a total of 4 nacelles. And they're all just loose. They were not attached to any runners, which is, I remember always thinking that was strange. Finally, we get an actual runner of opaque parts. This is the original display stand. This is the display strut. It no longer has the ability to fit this strut. So these are basically just useless parts now. But when I did mine a few years ago, I built it on a wood base. I painted the emblem all up and I set it on the wood base, and I thought it looked great. I really liked it like that. One of my favorite parts of that model was doing the wood base and staining it and making it look all nice. But yeah, here we've got the impulse engine deck. There's several different options for the nacelle aft end caps. I believe this version was from the first pilot, this version was from the second pilot, and this version was from the series, and you would insert these little half domes in the back of the nacelle caps. I'm not sure why they did those as separate pieces. It always struck me as strange. And additionally, you've got 2 different options for your shuttle bay door. This would be the series version because it actually has, you know, etched in lines where the doors could open, whereas this one is just a smooth quarter dome. And then there's 2 different navigational deflectors. Again, pilot, series. And then there's a little spire here that would go in the center of the deflector dish. A little bit of flash. It's actually a really odd bit of flash. It looks kind of like melted candle wax hanging off the end. I've never really seen anything like that before. But yeah, a little bit of flash on the runner itself. This kit was originally issued over like almost 15 years ago, so I'm not surprised that there's a little bit of flash here and there. And got a flyer, just cross cells, won't bother to look too much into it, but dated 2013. Instructions. Essentially the same as they ever were from every edition of this kit, except including the basic assembly of the Botany Bay and the new display stand. So it shows off the different versions, how you can build them, what accessories you want to use, what parts you want to use for what version. So if you want to do the pilot version or the series version, which add-on parts you would use for the warp nacelles, and etc., etc. Backside, you got 4 different marking guides. You got your regular series version, your first pilot version, your second pilot version, and then the Mirror Universe version, which is essentially the second pilot version with some additional details here and there, such as the Imperial Starfleet logo on the saucer. But apart from that, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference between the this and this. But yeah, I'll be doing the series version because why wouldn't I? Finally, we got our markings, which looks like it's still the same sheet as it's ever been from every previous edition of this kit. Got lots of windows, lots of funny shaped decals with lit windows and black windows and the Starfleet pennants for the secondary hull. So this would be for the series version, this would be for one of the pilot versions, and you've got your Imperial Starfleet logos and various Starfleet pennants and registry logos. And then you can also do this as the Constellation, the Defiant, or the Exeter. I believe there was also a additional set that included 5 or 6 other starship names that you could build this as. But from what I can tell, this looks like it's the exact same printing as with the previous reissue of this kit. So it's nice to see this kit get a reissue again, and for them to throw something extra in, a bit of extra value. You know, Space Seed has always been kind of one of those legendary episodes of the original series. I mean, how many other episodes from the original series ended up getting a feature film sequel? I mean, it's kind of the most legendary Trek. It is the most legendary Trek movie, and it's the episode that this is the episode that set it up. So it's kind of essential viewing. I've actually just been watching through TOS. I've seen most of the series at some point in my life. You know, the odd episode here or there, but I've never watched it straight through. And I finally saw Space Seed for the first time in probably 10 years, and it's a really good episode. You know, Ricardo Montalban was a great villain. And that ship, the Botany Bay, the DY-100 class, was a really neat design. And it's really cool to have an accurately scaled model of it, so I'm excited. Seeing as how I've built this Enterprise before, it's probably going to be a long time before I get around to doing this one. So it's going to just sit on the shelf unbuilt for probably a long time. I may do a dry fit of the Botany Bay just for laughs, but I probably not. I'll probably just stash them all together so that I don't lose it. But it's a nice looking kit. You know, in spite of the basic tooling for that Enterprise being as old as it is, you know, they've breathed a little bit of life back into it, you know. So I'm excited I'm excited for anyone that wants to get their hands on a reasonably scaled version of the Enterprise. I mean, like, I've got the 350th scale kit. If I'm going to be doing an Enterprise TOS, it's going to be that one. Lord knows when I'm going to do it or where I'm going to put it when I do it, but hey, maybe I can use this little kit as a reference to make a 350th scale version of the Botany Bay. Wouldn't that be a kicker? But probably not going to happen. So anyway, that's about all for that. Tomorrow we're going to take a look at the Romulan bird of prey, circa TOS from the originally appeared in the episode Balance of Terror. So do stay tuned for that. Thank you everyone out there for watching, and happy modeling.